Well, I mean, after their first screw up, they would have to be. With a lot of people actually don't know this, surprisingly, but with the Marvel Ultimate Alliance was originally supposed to have Link and Samus, and they ended up showing Nintendo the build they had for that game on the PlayStation console. Yeah, and Nintendo turned them down because it was shown to them on a PlayStation. So they screwed up in the past. They didn't want to screw up again. So, yeah. So.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, you can see some footage of Samus gameplay.
Wow. So, Ultimate Alliance was like one of my favorite games on the PS2. Like, I would have instantly jumped to a GameCube if like they had that. Like, seriously? I'm sorry. Go continue with the discussion. But that was like life changing to be what you just said. That was crazy. What's up, guys? LilwilltheDeity here, and I am actually shook. Like, if there was a word to describe how I feel right now, I am shook. So if you guys have been following me on Twitter, or if you guys have been following my endeavors, if you guys have been following what I've been doing over the past, I don't know, couple of months. So I've been featured on Andreas Restart's podcast over on his channel. You guys should definitely check it out. I'm a huge fan of his content. That is a plug for you there, Andreas. But what I found out from a guy that's a guest on the podcast named Entertainment Gaming Daily, if I'm not mistaken, is that Link and Samus were supposed to be in Marvel's Ultimate Alliance. Now, this one is really interesting to me because I am very much a big fan of Marvel's Ultimate Alliance. I feel like if not my favorite game on the PS2, it's like my second or third favorite game on the PS2. And guys, if you know anything about the PS2's library and just the variety of the library in general, you know how big of a statement that is. That is the ultimate culmination of Marvel's catalogs of superheroes in video game format. To me, there's no fighting game, there's no Marvel Omega game that could ever come close to being as special as that game was to me at the time, and maybe even now, since it's on the PlayStation 4 and now I can play it. And if you guys haven't played it, you should pick it up. Personally, I feel like it still holds this certain charm about it. But seeing this Link and Samus gameplay really breaks my heart, because I know just how good Marvel's Ultimate Alliance was. Now, I feel so heartbroken at this, and ironically, Valentine's Day was, at the time of this recording, yesterday, so isn't that crazy? I am actually really shook. We could have had Link interacting with Spider-Man. We could have had, that would have been crazy, even though Link doesn't really talk like that. We could have had Samus interacting with Iron Man. You know, why do people get us mixed up together? I don't think any of that would happen, but that would be really cool just to have them in the same atmosphere. And I asked one of my friends the other day, well, I told him I broke the news, and he said, you know, that would be stupid to just have Nintendo characters with Marvel characters. People would be like, why is there a knockoff Iron Man here? Or why is there just a guy with a sword here? You know what I told him? I don't care what people think, because, you know, obviously that would make them stupid. That would make them ignorant. I don't really care. It's just something they put in for the fans. The PS2 era, it was more about the fans. It wasn't about how much money you can throw your net out there and get. It wasn't about those shady dealings. And now the story behind this is that Activision was running into some time constraints, and you guys know that when it comes to video game development, time restraints happen all the freaking time. And what happened with the time restraints was Activision could not set up a demo for Nintendo on the Nintendo Wii, so they had to just go with the base version on the PS2. Obviously, I don't think that they were just gonna throw Link and Samus on the actual PS2 version, but rather it was just to show Nintendo. But yes, they actually showed Link and Samus on the PlayStation 2 version of the game. And with this Nintendo, this was Wii Nintendo. This was a Nintendo that was way more strict with their IP. Actually, this Nintendo is the reason why everyone still says, hey, Nintendo never, the rabbits thing doesn't exist, because Nintendo is just so strict on their IP. Back in that era when they did really good, they felt like the Wii could, the Wii sold on Nintendo's IP alone. Yes, there were third parties. Yes, there was a bunch of other stuff, but that was after the massive success that was the Wii. Now, this is really, really interesting, and I feel like it's a lost piece of gaming history where Nintendo characters cross over with Marvel characters. I don't think that's ever happened. That would have been actually crazy to me as a nerd in general, because I am big on comic books. I was big on that game, but yes, Nintendo was not pleased at all that Activision decided to show this to them on a PlayStation 2 system. They were not having it at all as a competitor system. It's a very understandable, but I realize that usually there are misunderstandings. Usually characters are always cut from games for one reason or the other. In fact, this is just a running theory. It has been confirmed that, they did show Nintendo that on the PlayStation 2 system, but it isn't like Nintendo hasn't straight up, and I don't think they ever will straight up come out and say, hey, yeah, Activision was stupid. Activision showed us that on the PlayStation 2 and we wasn't feeling it. They tried our life and we're not gonna, let our characters, I don't care if it was a demo, it was just misunderstanding. It was misinformation between both companies, Nintendo and Activision. I feel like we could have had an entirely different game, especially from my perspective as a kid, because I was very, very big on the PlayStation 2, and I still am. I feel like I would have a very different perspective on these characters if they were shown in this game, because in Ultimate Alliance they have these origin stories, they have this other stuff, they have, each character has their own boss, and I think it is really good, because we could have had a Ganondorf, we could have had a Ridley fight in the Ultimate Alliance. That would have just took me over to the Wii. Now, I feel like this could have been just one of the greatest things ever. But guys, if you did not know this, let me know if this changed your life, because I know this changed my this just rocked my whole world, figuring about what could have been, how crazy it would have been to have Link and Samus inside of Marvel's Ultimate Alliance, and probably Nintendo and Activision would have a really, really good relationship if that did go down. But guys, I will catch all of you guys in the next video. LilwilltheDeity out. What could have been?